Hello, this is Greg Van Kirk, and I wanted to share a little bit about Toolkit 4 and from my new book, It's What You Set in Motion, a Toolbox for Collaborative Changemaking. And this is under the Tools for Discovery and Diagnosis conversations. You can also think about that as opportunity identification. And this toolkit is a super universal toolkit that you can use for absolutely anything. You'll see that when we dive into it, and it's about finding and prioritizing actionable problems, right? Actionable problems, the key thing here, right? Question this tries to answer overall the how might we equip ourselves with practical problem identification and prioritization methodologies and tools. So these tools you sort of want to have in your own personal toolbox in the back of your pocket to be able to use whenever they help you apply all of the other tools within this toolbox. So again, this fits within the at Collaborative Changemaking YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe there to get new videos. And if you haven't gotten your toolbox yet, go to collaborativechangemaking.com or go to Amazon. And if you buy from Amazon, please leave a review. Interesting to hear myself say that. All right, so what are 8 things this toolkit helps you do? So first, learn about and diagnose problems from a variety of different perspectives. You'll see there are a lot of problem identification, tools to help you understand what problems exist and at all different levels and from all different perspectives. This will help you use all of the other tools more effectively, as I just touched on. Work to understand the root cause or causes of problems. Work to understand both the root causes and negative effects of problems, right? Causes and effects. Sometimes you step in on causes, sometimes you step in on effects. Approach problem identification in a way that empowers you to potentially transform a system rather than simply react to an event. How can I be proactive about getting underneath and solving the problem? Gain insights by analyzing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That might look familiar to you, that acronym. I'll show you that in just a moment. Make sure you're prioritizing what's currently changeable instead of what isn't. Let's focus on what we can do. Actionable, all right? Otherwise you can get paralyzed. And prioritize problems based on frequency and severity, okay? So let me open up and show you this toolkit here. So again, we're into a new module, module 2. Some notes, take your own notes. All right, here we are, toolkit number 4. We've got our inventory as always. Let me check those off. We've got our scorecard and prioritization as always. Again, you can always go online and find these. Here's some specific applications to think about. I'll be adding more and more to those. And our collaborative change-making voices. Maybe one of the most important voices or quotes here in the whole book is Albert Einstein. If I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. Couldn't be more true, right? So different voices speaking to the importance of all the tools in this toolkit. All right, first one, super simple. You're probably familiar with design thinking, human-centered design. This is more of a practice than a tool. And that is a root cause analysis, right? So just what's the problem, and then asking why 5 times, the 5 whys exercise, right? Just like level setting tool in toolkit 2, the 2.1 level setting tool should more become a habit. This is the same thing. It should become a habit in your conversations with your team or community. The next is just a super simple but super awesome problem tree analysis, right? And that's just brainstorming on putting in a problem, and what are the causes, lots of boxes, what are the effects of the symptoms, lots of boxes, have a conversation about it with your team. This works great on a whiteboard. Give everybody a marker and have everybody be able to contribute. Also a great thing to do is once you have a cause, flip it up to the problem and start the exercise over again, right? But you can use this with innovation, with problem solving, with your projects, with a social studies class, you name it, okay? Iceberg analysis, maybe another familiar tool. Iceberg, right? Most of the iceberg is actually below the water, but what we see is above it. We see the problem, but we want to work down and get an understanding of the mental models or the mindsets that are actually making the problem happen in the first place. That's where we can transform rather than react. SWOT analysis, familiar one for anybody who study business or others. So it's looking at strengths, weaknesses, internal factors, analyzing a project, an organization, a team, a product, and innovation. What are the internal strengths and weaknesses? Then looking at the external factors, what are the opportunities and threats? right? When we understand that, it helps us to figure out where should we prioritize our efforts. Okay. Next was one I designed in reaction to sometimes people spending time or having team conversations about people spending times on things that you cannot control. The whole serenity prayer thing, so to speak. So this is the problems versus design constraints analysis. So with this one, you write down, okay, what are we trying to achieve? What are the challenges and obstacles? Level of effort required, right? And then helps us classify, is this an actionable problem or is this simply a design constraint? Is this something we just got to work around, right? Big difference between the two. Problem prioritization analysis, the last tool here, right? Awesome tool. Maybe you figure out all the problems and then you come to this one last, right? With this tool, you're putting down the goal, just brainstorming what are the problems to achieving that goal, rating how frequently does this problem happen, what's the severity, what's the negative impact when it does happen, rating it, multiply, come up with a number, right? The higher number is the higher prioritization, and then ideate about solutions. Okay, thanks to Billions Institute for first introducing this one to me. As always too, go and get this tool using this QR code in Google Sheet and adopt it for yourself. And that's it. You get the reflection as always, and the next one gets into human-centered mapping. So hopefully that was helpful. Really universal tools that any team should have. And again, if you have any questions about this toolkit or any others, don't hesitate to reach out and have a wonderful day.